5, 6 years old, 7, 8. Play with Kenneth and Johnny. A lot of the old timers, most of the old timers are gone, but these trees still stand. These are second growth off of stumps. There were trees that were cut down many, many years ago. There's a bluff, like a cave. Couldn't go back in there very far, but we used to play in there. Get in there out from under the rain of the storm. This is a crosscut. There's a piece of cross-cut saw I found laying in the creek going towards John's. He probably cut up wood with this when it was all together at one time. That's a second growth tree right there off a stump. It's a white oak, looked like, or supposed to. This is going back up to Cage Hill, where many a time Grandpa Day would rest his mules going up that hill. Where once many children frolicked and played and made noises running around playing in these hills is now so quiet. That's looking back up going towards Coon Cave there. I'm standing right in the middle where the hog pasture used to be. The house used to sit right in this area here. Captain Dolly Day's house. As you look up there, the barn was up there. Chicken house. Mama built an outdoor outhouse right over there beyond that rock. The flat rock area. Used to be some big shade trees back here, but they've been gone many years. Yeah, the house used to sit right here. In this house, many children were born of Captain Dolly Day's There's Daryl, Connie, Ronald, Donald, Carolyn, Margaret Ann, Sharon Kay was born down here, and Bobby, Kenny Robert. Some of these rocks here is where the foundation was. And over here on this flat rock is where Daddy had a smokehouse, call it built, and set it on this flat rock. And after we moved down into the schoolhouse, he moved it on down the hall and set it down there. That was the foundation for the smokehouse. Before we had an outhouse, we used to go to the bathroom right out here, just hang it over the bluff right here. And when the creek got up, it'd wash it right on out, right over there, right off that. We just hang it off that bluff there. In the spring when it rained, there'd be water really coming out of there. There's groundhogs all over the place back here in these bluffs. Area over there we used to have our garden put out. Yeah, the old oak barn used to sit in that area right there. Creek comes out, it used to be a spring come out of there. Mommy cleaned it out, I cleaned it out. About the only time it really run was when it's wet weather, but it would come out of there. Now there's a tree in the place where that water used to come out. Looking back up the holler towards Coon Cave. Looking back down the Coon Cave holler toward the area where Cap and Dolly Day's house was. This same house, our Aunt Bess lived in it with her family at one time. Henry lived in that house. Probably John lived in that house. I don't know who all lived in that house at one time. Tell you what, they used to, back in the 40s, there'd be a crowd over here on Sunday visiting Grandma and Grandpa Day and all of us. And there'd be some big feeds going on. Tall tales being told. All the aunts and uncles would be over here. What a time it was. This is looking back down the hall towards the schoolhouse. In the fields, we put up was many of Lespedeza hay, loose hay, stacked around a pole. Well, it's time to go. This has been a tour of what's left of the old Bud and Kate Day farm of many, many years ago. Even though there's no building standing, there's still impressions of years ago. The fields are still here. And some of the trees and the bluffs are still here. Even though the creek is wider than it was 50 or 60 years ago, some of the same rocks are still rolling down that creek or in that creek. Well, this winds up the tour of this part of Stahler where Richard and Bud Day bought this land, I guess, around 1908 or 1909, somewhere around there. From there into the early 1960s, Days lived up this holler. What once was will never be no more. A lovely day in the Ozarks.